You've seen the videos, right? The ones claiming that the church is under attack and that governments are using the pandemic as an opportunity to take over the churches, or at least have more control over them. The church is under attack, but it isn't really from governments as far as I can tell right now, and I monitor that pretty closely. The real attack is coming from Christians, spreading conspiracy videos without conducting the proper research to validate them. These conspiracy videos, some are about the church, some are about the coronavirus, some are about the government actions to slow the spread of the coronavirus, are craftily argued and edited, but lack sound reasoning. They are poor substitutes for adequate research and evidence-based conclusions. I've watched and researched several of them, just like I would research for a sermon very thoroughly. I've received so many via email and social media. A pastor in another state emailed me yesterday to fact-check one coming out of Missouri, which was easily debunked. I have yet to see one of these videos that wasn't full of deception, manipulation, appeals to emotion, misleading stock footage, and or non sequiturs where the conclusions do not follow from the evidence provided, but the viewer is supposed to make the leap to assuming they are true. In other words, none of the conspiracy videos I have seen hold any weight when held to scrutiny. All so far have used persuasive speech techniques and or clever editing to make speculations sound like facts. Are there little kernels of truth and valid concerns in some of them? Yes. Mostly this can be attributed to people being people and making foolish or selfish decisions. Some local governments have issued statements and taken actions that are unwise, and they've had to backtrack on those for the most part. But those kernels of true concern get distorted into these videos into conspiracy hysteria, and Christians, sadly, are quite active in spreading the exaggerated and unproven claims. Normally, I hesitate to weigh in on things that aren't directly related to shepherding Christians in our community, but that line is being crossed this week in a big way, as scores of Christians are spreading misinformation, some with an abundance of passion. So why does this matter? Because every time people who claim to be followers of Jesus demonstrate that they don't do proper research, it hurts their credibility in sharing the gospel. When Christians appear to be gullible, quickly sharing misinformation, why would anyone want to hear what they think about spiritual things? If Christians cannot be trusted to carefully evaluate everything and hold only to what is true, as 1 Thessalonians 5:21 says, why should someone believe them when they say that there is a God and Jesus died on a cross and rose again so we can have a relationship with him? There is a mountain of evidence to support our belief in God and the resurrection of Jesus. The conspiracy videos I have seen so far have little credible evidence, and with a little research appear to be, at best, horrible exaggerations, and at worst, intentionally deceptive. No, churches have not been singled out with government restrictions as far as I can tell. Some governments have tried to hold churches to the same standard as businesses, and this has been falsely interpreted as widespread persecution. It is not. No, Hebrews 10:25 does not mean that we have to physically gather together in large groups or we're not actually gathering as a church. Tell that to the early persecuted church meeting in homes. No, churches don't need to gather physically together as quickly as possible or their constitutional rights will disappear. This is nonsense. It's fear-mongering. It's inappropriate for a follower of Christ to engage in this propaganda. Some Christians are spreading this because they don't know any better. I get that. I hope that they will reconsider and more carefully vet the things they share in the future. But I suspect that some people aren't spreading this because they love God or love the church. I suspect that some people just love conspiracies. They love to stir up dissension. It's actually a form of gossip. I suspect that spreading unproven conspiracy theories without thoroughly researching them triggers the same kind of satisfaction that happens after a person spills a juicy rumor about someone else. Christians, please stop spreading conspiracy gossip. I'm not saying you shouldn't watch and carefully evaluate. I am. I'm looking into everything. But stop being so quick to share and promote when so many of these are clearly designed to manipulate. have more discernment. Pray for more discernment. When there is actual evidence of a real effort to control and subvert the church that isn't just some anti-religious group that isn't going to get anywhere, I will absolutely sound the alarm and fight for our religious rights. That's not what's happening right now. So please, share truth online, not gossip. I know I probably just stepped on some toes. Sometimes we need that. Believe me when I say I do it out of a love for God's church and a love for you.